this evening. I hope that you all enjoy the jazz music that was playing earlier during reception. That was played by Connor Chan, so let's give him a big round of applause at this time. Thank you, Connor. So this is actually the first time that Olivia and I are working together as co-MCs, so let me give you a little bit of background information about Olivia. Olivia is actually the 2003 jeanlumb Athletics Award recipient and is known to many as a fitness guru. She has experience working as a personal trainer, a sports coach, camp gym instructor, as well as cross-country and track and field official. Currently working as a health and physical education teacher at 2 private schools, Olivia is broadening horizons as she's also aspiring to be an interior designer. Olivia.
Thanks, Serena. I'm so glad I get to co-MC with a seasoned professional like yourself. This is your 5th year as co-MC, so I'll be definitely following your lead. Like myself, Serena is also a recipient of the jeanlumb Awards. She won the Arts Award in 2002, and Serena also holds the coveted crown as Miss Chinese Toronto of 2003. She currently works as an auditor at PricewaterhouseCoopers, and is also frequently an MC for various galas, including the annual Imperial Ball Gala, the Center for Information and Community Service Fundraising Gala, and the Cambridge Food and Wine Society Annual Gala.
And of course, an annual event of such magnitude always has a great group of individuals who work behind the scenes all year round to make sure that each year the event is a success. So at this time, I would like to take the opportunity to introduce to you the members of our organizing committee. And if you can give them a big round of applause, and each member of the committee, if you can please put up your hand or stand up from wherever you are so we can recognize all your work this year. On our executive committee, Ms. Arlene Chan, also our president. Mr. Stephen Wong. Mr. Greg Wong. And our committee members also include Leslie Chan, Tak Chen, Pam Paulette, Sandra Lee, Kendra Lum, Kendra turn around, Jenny Norman, Sandra Wong, and Valerie Ma, who cannot be with us this evening, but she sends her support as usual.
And let's not forget my co-MC, Serena Lee, who is also a member of the organizing committee. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a show of our appreciation to this group of dedicated volunteers for their work for this evening's jeanlumb Award.
Now, I'm sure many of you are already quite hungry, but not to worry, because tonight you will be enjoying a 9-course meal. So if you want to, you can take a look in your program book and you can see what you're going to be having later on this evening. But before we get into that, as many of you have already self-discovered, in the back there is a bar, and there are bottles of wine available at $28 a bottle. We have red as well as white, both absolutely delicious. Or you can also buy individual glasses, and we also have non-alcoholic beverages. So the bar is just in the back, and if you're looking for a bottle of wine, your waiter will be more than happy to help you, so just let them know what you're looking for. Also, in the very back, you see long table. We have a silent auction this evening, as well as raffle tickets. The silent auction, there are multiple items in the back, including Maple Leafs tickets, 2 of them for cold seats in a January game against the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills, sorry, that's football, isn't it? And we also have a couple packages donated by Mr. Ted Potter from Law & Order, autographed pictures as well as a script from the cast, and a golf bag, and many, many others. So please take a look. We'll let you know when the silent auction is about to close. But in the meantime, the auction is open throughout the evening, and we'll let you know the winners later on. As well as the raffle tickets, which Kendra is organizing in the back right now. The grandchildren will be selling those tonight. They're $5 a ticket, 3 for $10, and they'll be coming around to your tables. So if you're interested, just put your hand up, let them know, and they'd be more than happy to sell you tickets. And at the end of the evening, we'll be drawing those, and there are the 10 baskets that you see in the back, as well as there are some dinner coupons in the raffle as well. So once again, if you're interested, raise your hand, and the grandchildren will come to you to your table with the tickets. So at this time, I would like to welcome our first speaker to the stage. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Ken Lumb to say a few words on behalf of the Lumb family.
you want to come up and make some noise, but everyone's really quiet now, so I'll just give my speech. Welcome to all the guests, honored recipients, and big thanks to sponsors, and you, the people who have joined us tonight to celebrate the jeanlumb Awards. This is the 14th annual jeanlumb Awards, and at this time I'd like to thank Linhwan, who is the honorary event chair. And Linhwan, please stand, give us a bow. Now don't clap too long, I don't want her to get a swelled head. Linhwan has been a long-standing friend of the family. When you see the slide presentation, you'll notice a cute little girl performing the lantern dance, as she was one of the members of the original Chinese community dancers. As I look around the room, I see a lot of familiar faces. For all those who have been to previous jeanlumb Awards, thank you for coming out. And for all the people that haven't been before, and this is your first time, you're very, very welcome. Thanks for coming out. This one thing I was going to say was, my mom was actually born a Wong, and her real Chinese name is Lumb Wong Toi Jian. So thank you for, I look around the room and I can see some Wongs here, so thank you for coming out and joining us. We never mentioned that she's a Wong, but she really is a Wong, and she ended up being a Lumb because she married my dad, right? So there's some things you have to give up when you get married. Now, there are a lot of stories about my mom that we can share with you, but we have a special short news clip that was aired on Omni Television. And my sister, Arlene, please stand again. She was interviewed by Becky Hung, and please stand if you're around. Oh, there she is there. Thank you. As a final aside, not to say too much about my sister Arlene, as we don't want her to head to swell up too much. She's already told to stand twice. She was on the women's dragon boat team for over 50, representing Canada at the World Championships. Yeah, and their team won 4 gold medals. So if you see her walking down the street like this, you know why. And I just thought to mention that that could be a very first thing for the Lumb family. Well, she's a Chan, but it's okay, we'll forgive her for that. That she could be the first Chinese Canadian that was on the women's dragon boat team. So congratulations. On that note, thank you all for coming out tonight, and I hope you enjoy yourselves, and hope you enjoy the presentation. Thank you very much from the Lumb family.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ken Lumb. Now, before we go to the video, actually, aside from Dragon Boat, Arlene's been extremely busy, and she actually has a book launch coming out on Thursday, November the 10th. It is at the Lillian H. Smith Library, which is just downtown on College, from 5:30 to 7:30. And in case you're trying to remember everything I'm saying, on your table you'll find a little pamphlet like this. And so if you're interested, it's open to the public. Feel free to come out and support Arlene. She'll be there for her book launch, and I'm sure she'll be more than happy to talk to you about it this evening. But this time we're going to watch the DVD, which was kindly... Oh, I apologize. We will watch the DVD after this next presentation. So at this time, we actually would like to start a portion of our awards. Ike Zhang, who's the winner of the Community Services Award this year. He's actually performing with the Toronto Chinese Orchestra at Richmond Hill Center later on this evening, and that's why we're starting it a little bit earlier. But at this time, if you can please join me in welcoming our winner this year, Ike Zhang, for the Community Services Award, as well as our president, Ms. Arlene Chan, to the stage, and our community awards sponsor, Erica Willard, who's the first grandchild of the Lumb family, to introduce to you our award recipient this year.
Hi. My name is Erica Willard, and as was mentioned, I am the eldest granddaughter of Jean Lumb, and it is my distinct pleasure this evening to introduce you to tonight's Community Service Award recipient, Ike Zhang. I am speaking on behalf of the Liu family. Ike's spirit of volunteerism carries him through the day from morning to night. His deep commitment to helping others begins at home as a caregiver for a family member and extends into school and the community. In addition to being on the Student Council, he is the co-chair of the Northeast Quadrant of the Toronto District School Board's Student Super Council. For his fundraising work with the Kidney Foundation of Canada, he was named Youth Charity Ambassador and recognized with an award from the Chinese Renal Association of Canada. As a member of the Toronto Chinese Orchestra, he plays the arab, a traditional bowed instrument, and organizes fundraising concerts for hospitals and community organizations. Although he volunteers locally at the Scarborough and Toronto General Hospitals, Ike has traveled to Ecuador several times as a youth activist for Free the Children to help build schools and a water filtration system. A sponsor of a 4-year-old boy in China, Ike believes that setting the right example and making a difference in people's lives can also be done on a small scale. Ike is enrolled in his final year of high school at Victoria Park Collegiate Institute. Please join me in welcoming Ike Zhang.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm speaking here first because I have a concert with Toronto Chinese Orchestra in the Richmond Hill Center right after, so I'm kind of busy right after. So, good evening, honored guests, fellow winners, and friends. My name is Ike Zhang, and it is a great honor for me to be able to stand here tonight and accept this award. I'm a grade 12 student at Victoria Park CI, and I'm enrolled in the International Baccalaureate program. I came to Canada when I was 4 years old, and I have a deep love for Chinese culture and history. So I love the traditional hobbies such as calligraphy. I do some Chinese water painting. At the same time, I play the Chinese violin, which is the erhu, and I'm a member of the Toronto Chinese Orchestra. Now, this award for community service means a lot to me, because Jeanlumb was an extraordinary person who did extraordinary things for the community and this country. Being able to receive this award from her foundation is a great honor for me, as I guess this award, in a way, to remind me of all the possibilities one has in their life. Service the community, volunteering your time, and benefiting the possibilities to society is everyone's duty. Canada has over 80,000 charity organizations, each representing a different cause. This is what Canada is about, helping others and getting involved with the community. Each and every one of us can make a contribution to our community in one way or another. It doesn't matter if you're a student like me or a working adult. Helping others, contributing, is not only improve your self-character, but helps the people around you. Only in this way, with people helping people, we will have a society to thrive and succeed with. I think that is the message of Jeanlumb Foundation and the message of this award. So, thank you very much, and it's an honor to be here.
Congratulations once again to Ike, and thank you, Erica and Arlene.
There you go. Good luck.
Congratulations once again, and good luck with your performance later this evening. And now we will enjoy the much anticipated DVD. It was actually generously provided by Omni Television, and the representative, Ms. Becky Hung, is actually actually with us this evening. Thank you very much for providing this. It's a story about jeanlumb and the accomplishments that she has had over the years. And it was aired on Omni Television in September, so please enjoy.
林黄彩珍在31岁的时候，连同全加拿大华人社区共40位代表，赴渥太华请愿，要求政府放宽移民条例。
It was very unusual for her. I think she had two things going against her. First, she was Chinese, because at the time there was a lot of discrimination against the Chinese, and there were a lot of legislation in place specifically against the Chinese. And the second thing was that she was a woman in the Chinese community.
Introduce you our next guest this evening. She is a family friend, an author, an entrepreneur, a fashion designer, a historian. She's the first Canadian of Asian descent to be appointed to the Senate of Canada and former Chancellor of the University of Toronto. Please join me in welcoming the honorary patron of the jeanlumb Foundation, Senator Vivian Hoy.
Good evening, friends. First of all, I want to thank Arlene Chan for inviting us, and it is indeed a great honor for me to be asked to say a few words about jeanlumb this evening. However, first I would like to congratulate all the award winners who are being recognized for their diligence and community spirit. Jean would be particularly proud because that's what her life stood for. Helping others in the Chinese Canadian communities. Now, what I'm going to say may be a little bit repetitious for those who understand Mandarin. However, I will say it so that everybody will know the way I feel about Jean. The late jeanlumb was a dear friend and a leader in our community. Many of the younger generation here this evening may not know that Jean was the first ethnic Chinese woman activist and, as you saw in the film, the first to receive the Order of Canada in Canadian history. Jean made a great impact during the time of Prime Minister Diefenbaker by lobbying for reunification of Chinese families. Today, everyone thinks it's perfectly normal to see generations of ethnic Chinese families together. I would like to remind you that that was not the case barely 60 years ago. The Chinese Canadian communities were bachelor societies. The men were in Canada and the women and the children in China. All Canadians of Chinese heritage should learn about the struggle of leaders like jeanlumb, whose achievements have benefited all of us. It is not unusual for women to be leaders today, as Arlene said on the film, but in Jean's time, it was unusual. Despite the fact that she was not able to attain higher education because her family could only afford to send the boys to university, she was able to learn on her own, and her public spirit motivated her to achieve great things for the community. The point system in our immigration is very familiar to many Chinese immigrants. Even though it came into effect in 1967, it was already in practice at various immigration offices by the beginning of the 1960s. Many people would not know that this was one of the ideas put forward by jeanlumb when the Chinese Canadian delegation, of which she was a member, met with the Canadian Immigration Minister and officers at various times. When reunification of Chinese families was achieved, Jean put her efforts into saving Toronto's Chinatown. Those who are interested in Chinatown histories in Canada would come across her name frequently. As a historian with special interest in the history of Canadians of Chinese heritage, I would say that jeanlumb was one of the important beacons that led the way into our integration into Canadian society. And this evening, we should all thank her for this achievement. Again, congratulations to all the award recipients. Please enjoy a lovely evening.
Thank you, Senator Hoy. It is such a great privilege to have you and your husband, who is also a great friend of the Lumb family, to join us tonight. Next, please join me in welcoming Consul Wong, Consul General of the Consulate General of the People's Republic of China.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's my great honor and pleasure to be here tonight, and on behalf of Chinese Consulate General and Mr. Chen Ligang, I'd like to extend our sincere congratulations to the recipients of jeanlumb Award, and as well as jeanlumb Foundation. As we all know, jeanlumb Foundation has done a lot of work in the education field during the past time. And we also realize that jeanlumb Foundation is a symbol for us to understand the Chinese Canadians' history as well as modern China. And during jeanlumb's time, China was still in a very difficult situation. But nowadays, China is the world's second largest economy. China and Canada enjoy good relationship during the past 41 years. And the Chinese Canadians are making more and more significant contributions to the economic and social development of Canada. So we have to say that the jeanlumb Foundation is a valuable legacy passed from our Chinese Canadians pioneers. And we just hope all the recipients and all of us can memorize the spirit of our pioneers and carry on their career to further promote the better understanding between the people of Canada and China. And I wish you good health, better life, and a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Consul Wong. If I can ask for you to stay in the center, and I'd like to invite our President, Ms. Arlene Chan, back to the stage, and Senator Poi for a photo op in the middle there.
Would you please stand up and wave so everyone can acknowledge you? With us this evening, we have Dr. Gordon Chong, the former City of Toronto Councillor. Dora Nip, Multicultural History Society of Ontario. Alan Allison, Superintendent of Schools, Toronto District School Board. Kirk Mark, Coordinator of Race and Ethnic Relations, Multiculturalism, Toronto Catholic District School Board. Ms. Louie, who is also a longtime friend of the Lumb family and is a young and vibrant 95-year-old. Would you please stand up?
Mrs. Louie, please stand up. If I was 95, look how vibrant and wonderful she is. Look, give us a wave, Mrs. Louie. Hi. Just wave, Mrs. Louie. Just wave. She's amazing. She's been coming all these years. I have to introduce her. 95 years young. Wow. And you know what I have to brag? My uncle, where's Uncle Louie? Where are you, Uncle Louie? You need to stand too. Where are you? Uncle Louie?
She has not missed 1 year of the awards. So thank you. Everyone please, another stand. Thank you all for coming. TAC, may we please have our next 3 courses, which are crispy chicken, roper fillet with green onions and garlic, and the double lobster.
The awards portion of this evening. So on behalf of the University of Toronto Scarborough, please join me in welcoming Mr. Bill Bowen, Chair of Humanities, to present the University of Toronto Scarborough Academics Award to this year's recipient.
Thank you. It is my pleasure to represent the University of Toronto Scarborough in introducing the winner of the University of Toronto Scarborough Academics Award, Carol Zheng. Carol arrived from China as a 4-year-old. Despite her family's challenging financial circumstances, she rose to the top ranks in the academic and music world. With an average of 96% in her graduating year, she was on the honor roll throughout high school, despite her busy schedule as an accomplished vocalist, piano and organ soloist, accompanist, and music teacher. By age 15, Carol had completed her ARCT in performance with distinction. She was a student council executive who drafted a new constitution, vice president of the Math, Engineering and Social Science Association, and treasurer of the school's music council. Based on her high SAT scores, overall academic excellence, and leadership, she was invited to the 2011 International People-to-People Leadership Summit. Among her numerous achievements are top 25% of the Canadian National Waterloo Math Competition and a winner and finalist in provincial and national debating tournaments. Carol is enrolled at the Eastman School of Music in Rochester, New York. Please join me in welcoming her to the podium.
Thank you. I'm very, very honored. Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, dear friends, today is a celebration of the achievements of my fellow award winners. And what a great honor it is to be amongst such insightful, talented, and motivated young leaders of tomorrow. But today is even more so a celebration of the special, unsung heroes who have instilled either through inspiration, encouragement, or sheer dedication, a little bit of themselves into each of us. The heights that we've scaled on the grand tower of achievement, for which we are now being showered in laurels, camera flashes, and applause, is just as much the reflection of the scaffolding that these great people have built below us, as it is the recognition of our own hard work. I owe the most to the mentors who had faith in me even before I did. I owe it to those who, despite being world-class performing artists, nationally acclaimed scientists, and celebrated politicians, never ever rejected what I had to say at the piano, on paper, or at the podium as anything less than something that deserved their full and undivided attention. Their belief in me propelled me to transcend my student limitations and gave me the courage to perform with total conviction, to undertake physics challenges at least 4 years beyond my grade level, and to do something that changed me into something nothing short of something greater than myself. These are the people who knew exactly what Goethe meant when he said, if you treat a man as he is, he will remain as he is. But if you treat a man as he can be, he will become as he can and should be. These are the men and women who taught me that failure is a prerequisite for success, who awakened my joy in discovery and creativity, and who, above all else, showed me the power of unyielding curiosity, of ceaseless inquiry, and of hard work. I also am in debt to my friends, the beautiful, wise, and utterly sincere individuals who are always there to comfort, to counsel, and cheer me on. I will never forget the stimulating discussions I have had with the brilliant minds that could jump from quoting long passages of Shakespeare by heart to explaining the modern theories of relativity and space-time to referencing lines from the Charter of the United Nations. Neither will I ever cease to be impressed, moved, and inspired by the self-effacing kindness of those shining hearts who, for instance, accompanied me up and down halls during student elections week, carrying and panting under my 10-pound box of campaign materials as I tried to shake hands with everyone I met, without ever expecting anything in return except my success. I can only try to emulate these uncommon individuals and give thanks with a glowing, blessed heart. And even now, at the highly selective Eastman School of Music, the absolute temple of artistry and scholarship, where I am spending the first of 4 thrilling, inspired, and truly challenging years with 14 other piano performance freshmen from around the world, I am truly thankful for the stellar tools and opportunities that will prepare me solidly for my ultimate life and transitively career objectives. Specifically, my life goal is to probe the frontiers of human understanding, to contribute to the wealth of cultural treasure, and to chart a few islands of human knowledge along the way. At present, I see myself beginning my career as a performing artist and composer. Throughout my life, I shall spend a portion of my time teaching and writing about music. And besides establishing myself as a fine interpreter of existing masterworks, I also intend to bridge the East and West through the synthesis of traditional Chinese music as well as Western music. Beyond art itself, I aspire to use my love for music to serve people and peace. Hopefully, once I am a recognized musician, my journeys will take me to the remote reaches of the world. I intend to dedicate a few months annually to performing and teaching in the isolated Canadian North, or visiting distant villages rich with indigenous culture, but unexposed to Western music. As a cultural ambassador, my mission will be to promote peace and human enrichment through musical expression and cultural exchange. Indeed, this dream is audacious, but this is a solid objective that I am willing to chase to no end, nobly, passionately, and humbly. Others may say that you have to be lucky in order to make your dreams come true. And I agree, but luck is simply being at the right place, at the right time, and knowing it before it's too late. At this second, I am very lucky to be standing on the shoulders of giants like jeanlumb, to be motivated at this ceremony by the recognition of my hard work, and to be, through the jeanlumb Award, ever inspired, ever encouraged, and as my school, Eastman School of Music's motto goes, meliora, ever better, in my pursuit of truth, artistry, and peace. Thank you very much.
Congratulations once again, Kara, and thank you. Mr. Bill Bowen and our President Arlene will make the plaque presentation in the middle there for a photo opportunity as well. Thank you once again. Our next award this evening is the Athletics Award and is sponsored by a longtime friend of the Lumb family, our returning gold sponsor, Murphy & Chung Chartered Accountants. Jim Tong, the senior partner of Murphy & Chung, is on his way home from Phoenix right now, so actually his nephew, Mr. Darren Broach, will introduce the 2011 Murphy & Chung Athletics Award recipient, Bethany So. Unfortunately, Bethany could not be with us this evening, but she's clearly a worthy recipient of this prestigious award, as she is currently in Taiwan competing at the World Junior Badminton Championships, and so Mr. So, Bethany's father, is to accept the award on her behalf.
First of
of all, I just wanted to thank the jeanlumb Foundation for having us again this year, and to all the volunteers that work so hard to make this event such a big success year after year. We at Murphy & Chung are proud and honored to be part of such a wonderful foundation that helps shape the lives of our future leaders. Over the past couple of years, I've had the honor of meeting some of the award recipients, and I got to say, every year I'm amazed at the amount of poise and character that these individuals show at such a young age, and this year is no exception. So with that being said, I'd like to present the winner of this year's Murphy & Chung Athletics Award to Bethany So. Bethany competes for her school in multiple sports like volleyball and cross country, but it was badminton that catapulted her to the international stage as an athlete representing Canada in the Junior Pan Am American Games, Junior Olympic Tryouts, and Canada Winter Games. Winning provincial, national, and international tournaments for singles, doubles, and mixed doubles has ranked her second and third in the under-19 age category of the National Junior Elites. Her goal is to represent Canada at the 2015 Pan American Games in Toronto. Bethany's coach describes her as being one of the most talented and coachable athletes of her teaching career. Not only did her athleticism garner many awards, she's also received the Principal Scholar Award for achieving the top 20 academic marks in each year. And Bethany is currently studying kinesiology at the University of Toronto.
And at this time, we're actually going to turn our attention to the screens. Bethany has filmed a DVD for us, just to say a few words for thank you for the award.
Rehearse and to deliver this, but I'm delighted to be able to speak to you nonetheless. But firstly, I would like to congratulate all award recipients for all their hard work. I'm sure that the application process was lengthy and the quality must have been tremendous, so everyone here should be proud to be here in this award ceremony. Right now, I'm in Taiwan competing in the Badminton World Junior Championships, which is why I'm unable to be here. I only wish that I could be here to congratulate and meet everyone here. But apart from competition, I'm studying at the University of Toronto right now in kinesiology. I hope to be actively involved in the field of exercise and recreation and to continue my passion of sport. As with all the award recipients, I'm sure that this award is a huge motivational boost. But not only is this award a drive to push me further to continue with this sport, but to me it is also recognition of the sport alone. Playing in a sport that is not so popular in North America, I'm honored to be here to represent myself as well as all those involved in the sport of badminton. Thinking back 6 years ago when I first started playing badminton, I would have never imagined it to have become such a big part of my life. Nor would I have ever thought it would have given me such great opportunities, like this one, speaking to people with so many different talents, commitments, and roles in the community. However, I could have never done this alone. Family, friends, coaches, and opponents have all helped me along the way in my journey to become the person I am today. It is my full intention to continue in this sport, and I am honored to accept this award. I would like to give a great big thanks to the jeanlumb Foundation for hosting such an honorable event. I wish good luck to everyone in their future endeavors and know that they will pursue their future goals with a passion. I hope that my absence won't be felt too much, and I wish everyone a great evening. Thank you.
Congratulations once again to Bethany, and now at this time we have
Thank you to Murphy & Chung Chartered Accountants for their ongoing support of the jeanlumb Awards. Next, we are so pleased to welcome a first-time sponsor, Downtown Subaru. As some of you may already know, we have added a 5th awards category this year for innovation. We would now like to invite Diana Ler, to introduce the recipient of the 2011 Downtown Subaru Innovation Award, Clement Chow.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm speaking on behalf of Downtown Subaru, and we are proud to be a sponsor tonight. I'd like to say a few words about tonight's recipient of the Innovation Award. For someone who aspired to be an inventor, Clement has achieved one of his many goals by developing a research project using an enzyme-based biosensor to detect pathogenic bacteria. Despite having a demanding school workload, his excellent effort and progress, as described by the supervising University of Toronto professor, resulted in high-level results, matching those of many third-year undergraduate students. Working in a voluntary capacity, Clement showed initiative and scientific creativity in formulating his unique project that was related to ongoing research in the university's laboratory. Clement's teacher advisor notes that he is well-rounded in music, athletics, martial arts as a black belt, and volunteer at a seniors center and St. John Ambulance, while maintaining an A average. He has been the recipient of many science awards and achieved the Gold Duke of Edinburgh Award. Clement will be attending medical school at James Cook University in Australia in February 2012. Please join me to welcome Clement Chow.
All right, thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, and fellow award recipients. It's an honor for me to be here tonight to receive this award. First off, I'd like to thank all the award patrons and sponsors, and especially Downtown Subaru, for all their generous donations and support of the jeanlumb Foundation. I'd also like to thank my family, for without their constant love and support, I would not be standing here tonight. So innovation has always been a key interest of mine. Ever since I was a little kid, I knew I wanted to be an inventor. But not exactly the type that looks on medical breakthroughs. Instead, I wanted to invent something like bring Pokemon into real life. Well, then in grade 8, I had my first taste of scientific research. I joined the Niagara Region Science Fair, and with the help of my mentor, my teacher, it went well, and I was planning to do it again in the following year. But instead, I moved up here to Toronto, and all the new excitements of a new city buried my complete interest in innovation. So in the back of my head, it lay dormant until grade 11, when a few friends and I decided to try and apply for a biotechnology competition called the Sanofi-Aventis Biotalent Challenge. Unfortunately, none of us really had many experiences in the lab, and our knowledge on scientific journals and papers was limited at the time. So we didn't really know what we were doing, and our proposal wasn't exactly accepted into the competition. Discouraged but not defeated, I decided to spend my summer gaining some real practical experience in a laboratory. So I emailed every professor in the U of T science department, wondering if they would let me into their lab to work as a summer student. And for the professors who were nice enough to reply, they said they were looking for students who were in their second year of university, at least. So just when I thought that all hope was lost, I received an email from Dr. Gil Preview, who ran an X-ray crystallography lab at the University of Toronto Ontario Cancer Institute. He was kind enough to let me try and work in his lab, as long as I showed that I was truly committed to the task, and I did not destroy his lab. Fortunately, that didn't happen. So while people were hitting the beaches, soaking up the sunshine, I was in the lab, practicing my micropipetting skills and setting up gel combs. It was really fun stuff, and I learned a lot, I experienced a lot, and although I started off inexperienced, and I was more of a hassle to all the other researchers in the group, I ended up helping them. I became more familiar with the techniques, and I aided them in their research. Soon, I began to pursue my own project, where I was intent on detecting harmful pathogens by targeting their unique membrane proteins using fluorescent phospholipids. So armed with this new research initiative, I once again applied in the following year for the Snow-Fiovantes Biotop Challenge. This time, with all my knowledge and practical experience at the lab, I was accepted immediately, and my research was pushed, even past the summer, into school. And after school, I would continue going to the labs in order to work even harder than before, so I'd be ready for the competition. But surprisingly, this entire year of research at my lab made me realize that research isn't as good as I thought it would be. It's actually much more frustrating and very lonely, because I remember when I was in the lab, I'd spend like the entire year doing the work there. And although I learned a lot, it all accumulated to a final result that was impractical. It worked well, but it was just expensive, and it took way too many materials and technology compared to our everyday traditional grandstands. But unfortunately, that's the reality of research. Some people spend their entire lives trying to discover a cure, and then they never do. And also, I remember when I was stuck in the lab late at night, with no other researcher but this woman, who would be singing along obnoxiously to her radio, blasting some loud country music. By the time I started singing along too, I realized I couldn't spend the rest of my life in the lab. I needed some social aspect, or some concrete evidence that my work was immediately helping people. So that's when I realized that maybe pursuing a career in medicine would encompass all my interests. I could still focus on the scientific innovation while experiencing the joy of helping the patient, and also relishing the patient to Dr. Bond. So right now, in order to make that dream a reality, I'll be flying down to the tropical city of Townsville in February, which is situated on the east coast of Queensland, Australia, to start my first years of medicine at James Cook University. And one more thing, I want to thank the jeanlumb Foundation, because with their scholarship and innovation award, it will help partially fund my studies, and more importantly, it has encouraged me, and it has enforced my motivation to achieve my goal. Thank you.
Special congratulations once again to Clement as our first Innovation Award recipient. And of course, thank you to our new sponsor from Downtown Subaru. Thank you very much, and congratulations once again, Clement. The fifth and final award this evening is the Arts Award sponsored by the Kochev family. Mr. Ted Kochev is a Torontonian who lives in Los Angeles with his wife, Li Hung Chung, but works in New York as the executive producer of Law & Order Special Victims Unit. He has had an immense success with his stage, television, and movie career. Last year, Mr. Kochev was the recipient of a 2010 Cambridge Lifetime Achievement Award at the Columbus Center, and this year he introduced Senator Pamela Wallin, who he nominated as the 2011 Cambridge Lifetime Achievement Award, which was celebrated just last night. Last month, Mr. Kochev attended the Oldenburg Film Festival in Germany, where they gave him a special tribute to honor his great work and tremendous contributions over the years. On Wednesday, he will be presented with a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Directors Guild. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Ted Kochev, a longtime friend of the Lumb family and a special friend of jeanlumb.
Okay, Li Fun. Ladies and gentlemen, I was very fortunate to have met jeanlumb on several occasions. She was an impressive self-assured, formidable presence. She radiated intelligence and spoke with great articulacy. In her character, she was way ahead of her times. She was the new woman produced by the feminist emancipation movement many years later in the 60s and 70s, where there was a fusion of the best of masculine qualities and the best of the feminine. You immediately felt her masculine strength and her unyielding moral commitment. Nothing was going to stand in her way, and nothing was deemed impossible, and she would never, never allow herself to be intimidated. But at the same time, she was never assertive, presumptuous, or aggressive. She was a total woman with deep wells of warmth, empathy, and compassion. While she and I were talking of politics and art, jeanlumb's twin passions, I thought to myself, knowing her history, how did she become the person she is? How did she achieve everything she did with so many strikes against her? For she belonged to a nationality discriminated against. She was not allowed to go to a regular school, but was forced to attend a segregated school for Chinese, Japanese, and Native Canadians. She was herded into a ghetto in Nanaimo, British Columbia, and as she said, she was made to feel guilty and ashamed of being Chinese. She belonged to a sex that was discriminated against, as was mentioned earlier by Arlene, so always kept in the background. She came from a farm laboring class. She had a scanty education because at the age of 12, she was compelled to leave school and work to support her 11 siblings. Any other human being, no matter how strong, would have crumpled under those blows of fate, but not her. In 1935, at the age of 16, jeanlumb traveled by herself from Nanaimo to Toronto. When she arrived, she saw that Toronto had a large, she was very impressed, a large Chinese community, over 2,000 people. But she was shocked and appalled to see that there was only a dozen Chinese families in those 2,000 people. All the rest were single men whose loved ones were in China and Hong Kong under the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1923. Chinese men were not allowed to bring their wives, children, and parents into Canada. This was a defining moment for jeanlumb, transforming her moral outrage at this inhumanity into political activism. Family reunion was to be her political goal. She became president of the Chinese Women Association, and for 10 years, 10 long years, she lobbied to have the Exclusion Act rescinded, but to no avail. Not even a hearing. But resolutely, she never gave up. In 1957, jeanlumb was in Toronto's Chinatown. She was a very smart businesswoman and had just opened her famous restaurant, Kwang Chow. She made it her business to meet and befriend the federal member of parliament for her area, Roland Mitchell. A Chinese delegation had been formed of 30 representatives from all over Canada to approach the newly elected Prime Minister, John Diefenbaker, to get him to lift the restrictions on bringing one's wife and children into the country. Naturally, the delegation consisted entirely of men. The MP for Chinatown, the aforementioned Roland Mitchell, he had arranged a meeting with the Prime Minister. He suggested to the delegation that jeanlumb should be part of it, to stress the fact that they were acting for family reunion and not for extra immigration. All the men in the delegation stoutly opposed it. A woman's place was in the kitchen cooking, not gallivanting around Ottawa, pretending to be a politician. But under pressure, they finally relented, but only the night before they left for Ottawa. However, they made it very clear to jeanlumb that she had to always stay in the back, be as quiet as a mouse, and never utter a word. Now, the leader of the delegation to Ottawa was Mr. Wong from Vancouver. He was not born here, so his English was a bit shaky and a touch difficult to understand. At his request, jeanlumb had helped him in the previous weeks with his pronunciation and speech. On the day the delegation arrived for this momentous meeting, a nervous and scared Mr. Wong sat next to the Prime Minister on his right. jeanlumb sat at the very back as ordered. But being the only woman present, and John Diefenbaker being a Canadian gentleman, he invited her to come up and sit next to him on his left. This killed the men to see her up there. Though what followed was pure farce comedy. For what no one knew was that John Diefenbaker was deaf in his right ear. That, combined with Mr. Wong's English, led the Prime Minister to continually turn to jeanlumb. What's he saying? Having coached Mr. Wong, she knew the speech by heart. And sitting next to his good ear, she kept filling in the Prime Minister. This went on through the whole speech. What's he saying? Of course, these constant interruptions rattled Mr. Wong, made him even more incomprehensible, leading to even further, what's he saying now? After Mr. Wong's unintelligible speech had finally ground to a halt, there was a universal, depressing sense of total failure. But jeanlumb, after all her years of campaigning, was not going to let this opportunity slip away. This was the heroic moment she was destined for, and she knew it. She instinctively understood the psychodynamics of the situation. There was no way a man could turn down a woman pleading for women to be allowed to be with their husbands. She made a powerful, eloquent, moving appeal to John Diefenbaker, and of course, as you guessed, she prevailed. He announced he would act to remove all the restrictions on Chinese families. Everyone in the delegation, some reluctantly, acknowledged that jeanlumb had saved the day from what would have been a total disaster. Deservedly, she became the heroine of Chinese communities all over Canada and a significant figure in Canadian history. But this was not the end of jeanlumb's contributions. For the whole of her life, she worked tirelessly to help the Chinese community in every sphere of life, be it education, hospitals, settlement houses, dance companies, helping young Chinese girls realize themselves, all the arts. And the jeanlumb Foundation was created to carry on her work to advance education by providing scholarships for deserving high school students of Chinese heritage. Since 1998, 14 years ago, 58 young people, including the student winners tonight, have received the jeanlumb Award. And one of the more gratifying things about these occasions is that former award winners, alumni, have returned to help. Serena Lee and Olivia Chu are the MCs tonight. Jeanette Moores and Lillian Mier were on the registration desk outside. Catherine Pack helped with logistics, and Andrew Young maintains and updates the jeanlumb Foundation website. Other alumni in attendance are Matthew Law, who was our official photographer for the past 2 years, Mitchell Wong, a past co-MC, and Nick Vecchio, who is the founder of Big Hearts for Fresh Starts, a charitable organization that donates, supports equipment. Let's have a round of applause for these jeanlumb alumni. My wife, Lee Fun, and I are honored to support the jeanlumb Foundation, perpetuating her vision, her legacy, her commitment to Chinese life in Canada. I urge you strongly to join us and make some monetary contribution to this most worthy endeavor. Thank you. He has achieved the ARCT piano performance with first-class honors with distinction. Sharing his music as a volunteer performer, he has played the piano at many events in the community, as well as performing with the school's jazz band and his own rock band. His latest fundraising initiative involved organizing over 30 local young musicians who performed at a series of concerts to raise funds to purchase a concert grand piano for the Burlington Performing Arts Center. He's earned a long list of awards for academics, community leadership, and many distinguished music competitions at the provincial and national level, including the Kiwanis and Royal Conservatory. All this was accomplished while maintaining an average of 95% in grade 11 and 96% in grade 12. And Dennis is now continuing his studies at the University of Western Ontario. Ladies and gentlemen, Dennis Wong.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests. I am both honored and very humbled to be standing here today as a recipient of the Kachef Family Arts Award. Thank you. As a short introduction, as it has already been mentioned, I have been playing piano for around 15 years now, and over the past few years, I have been dedicated to using music as a means for building communities, fundraising, and helping grow the arts through youth in Burlington. This was done through a series of organized concerts for youth, providing them with both a chance to develop their artistic talents and a chance to share their talents with the public. The concert's proceeds were used to fund a grand piano at the new Burlington Performing Arts Center. I hope this will allow many future generations of aspiring young musicians, actors, and actresses own their talents and pursue their passions. This, of course, is a vision in which many fellow young musicians, my family especially, music educators, and supportive community members, and I believed in and continue to believe in so strongly. I would like to thank all of them for their contributions to arts and culture in Burlington. The Kachef Family Arts Award that I've received tonight shows me that there's not only a strong belief that arts are such an integral and unalienable part of our lives, but that there's also a strong belief in both allowing youth to pursue their passions while building strong and vibrant communities. I would like to extend my deep thanks to the Kachef family and the jeanlumb Foundation for making all of this possible. I will undoubtedly use its generosity well to support my education, so that not only will I be able to pursue both my passions in music and business, but that I'll be able to give back a lot, as much as all the jeanlumb Foundation has done over the years, and will continue to do in the foreseeable future. Thank you all very much.
Not for a year plus.
I'm the director.
Congratulations to Dennis, and thank you to the Kocha family for being our returning gold sponsor as well as our platinum sponsor.
Navajeва.